You're probably saying, so what? Damn, Johnson, you really must hate Superman so much. No, I hate James Gunn and the glazing that's been going on right now. But also, I want to talk about this because a lot of combo outlets are not talking about this. Of course, they won't. Because it's a foreign film, a Japanese anime comic book in their own right, defeated an American, well, not just American, they defeated all the American comic films this year, from the Fantastic Four, from the Thunderbolts, the Brave New World, and now Superman. And it needs to be talked about. I'm not going to go too heavily with this in this video. Please do me a major favor. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. That helps me out with this beautiful, horrific algorithm. So let's really get into this. So what does this mean? This means many things. It means that Warner Brothers probably wish they kept Akira rights, but I'm glad they got rid of it because what's his name? Tata Waititi was supposed to be on it, so this works better. But it does mean that Warner Brothers might have a problem with their DC library right now. Currently, right now, when it comes to the superhero genre, it's not looking good. I do even believe the Avengers movie is not going to make $1 billion. It's going to do well box office wise, but I don't see it making $1 billion. It's just we're in a different time frame now, where the comic book movie industry is not as good as it once was, and also the fact too, I blame this on Marvel. They got lazy and complacent. I also blame DC. They just copy, and paste. They didn't even take the time to change the formula. They just copied and pasted. It don't help either when you're getting people from the Marvel camp over to DC. Like you got James Gunn. And no disrespect to James Gunn, but it's like you telling James Gunn to make a Superman film. He's going to do it the way he did it with Marvel. He's not going to change anything. And exactly is what we got. When I saw Superman, I felt like I was watching Superman and Guardians of the Galaxy. I felt like I was watching Superman and Marvel like. And all these people that are Marvel fans are now saying DC is back. No, they ain't. By Demon Slayer standards, you are not back. You've been slain. You have been slain like the rest of these demons in Demon Slayer. They are not back. The reason that people want the Snyderverse back is different. It's not following what Marvel's doing. And I said this when I was blue in the face, and I said this, and multiple people said it. DC is good when they take themselves seriously. DC is good when they're not doing what everybody else is doing. That's the problem. Warner Bros. Did very well this year, box office wise, because they didn't do what everybody else was doing. They were doing the opposite. That's what Warner Bros. Was good for. That's what they were known for. DC is the same way. DC is good when they take themselves seriously. When DC starts doing that goofy, crappy crap, when they start copying Marvel, they fail. They fail miserably. Because these characters are meant to be that. And if you are going to do that with these characters, do it your own way, not copy and paste. But they've been copy and pasted, and these are the results they're going to get. Box office wise, reception wise, everything else. I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says. I'm not a goon. And that's the problem. Stop going by what Rotten Tomatoes says. Go by what the fans say. Go by what people say. And that's what pisses me off. Why would you go with a bad accuracy of films today? Rotten Tomatoes doesn't mean nothing today. Look at these box office. Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Captain America, Brave New World all had good Rotten Tomato scores. Guess what? They bombed. Superman almost didn't make the money they did. I want to say they bombed, but they were close. So it's not always about Rotten Tomatoes score. It's about what the fans want. The fans want a Superman that's not weak and beaten down. We didn't get that. They want a strong protagonist. We didn't get that. Demon Slayer got a strong protagonist and good antagonist. So, it's one of these things where you gotta really understand, like, this is not. We're living in an age now where I believe that people need to understand what makes film good or what the audience want. The audience want variety. They want difference. And we're not getting that in the film. For a while, Netflix was doing that, but they're not. They're getting too much into the sports aspect of things, but Amazon is too. Everybody's getting into that because streaming is the way to go. Netflix put Blockbuster out of business, and I believe the way things are going, especially with these new tariffs, that they could put the movie industry out of business, more so the theater aspect out of business. And I like going to the theater, and I don't want the aspect to go away. But the way things are going, it might be. Excuse me. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but the way things have been going lately, I feel like that's the direction we are going. But Demon Slayer is currently right now, and still this film has not have a China release date. This film is at 616 million. When this thing gets released in China, it will be 750 to 800 million dollars. It could be more. If this film makes $1 billion, oh my god. This is great for the anime community. This is perfect. But again, you gotta be careful. This is when the Hollywood studios will grab it like, oh, let's get into this money market. Now, the last film that did well overseas, over here in the States, were Pokemon. But, I mean, if you want to count the last Demon Slayer, but, I mean, if you really want to be accurate, it was Pokemon. But Pokemon was for kids anyway, and that was in the early 2000s. Of course, that was going to be huge. Pokemon was huge all over the place. Game Boys, and it was just selling. Pokemon it was selling. I was one of those kids. I went to the theaters, so I know. And God, that was so long ago. But, I'm happy for it. I'm happy for this anime. Like I said, Disney is a question mark because they own an IP, which is Dragon Ball. So they may look at this like, wait a minute, hold on. We put all this money into the superhero movies. Let's put the money into anime, which is good. But you gotta be careful. Disney likes to own things. And Disney's like to not follow source materials. And they like to put their agenda-driven stuff into it. And I've been seeing a lot of articles where they're trying to get into the anime industry. It's trying to censor stuff. Don't you do it. Leave us alone. That's why I've been watching anime for many, many years. Because it stays... They don't play with that censorship. They do what they do, and they make... Anime has always been good because there's so much anime out there. When people say, I don't like it, there's an anime for it. You just have to find it. There's too much of it out there. Like, literally, it's too much. I do think the anime industry has suffered because we get a lot of the standards of what I'm talking about. The typical fantasy world, teleported to a world type of thing now compared to how we used to get back in when I was growing up. It was all about mechs, and I loved it, even though it was like, come on, man, we could do more. Like each anime, you could say a decade or generation had something different. When I was growing up, it was mechs, so I was loving it. I got all mech anime. There was so many mech anime I was getting, and the biggest one was Gundam. That's how Gundam blew up, especially Wing. Wing was my go-to. But if you want me to talk more about anime, we'll talk about it in another video. But as always, like, subscribe. Peace. Have a Johnson day. Tell me, guys, what you think about this Demon Slayer thing. I know I ran a little bit too much on this, but I just want to say this. But hey, it is what it is. Well-deserved Demon Slayer. And I'll talk to you guys next video.